Okay, guys, so the question or the topic for this question is identifying statements that describe a ratio. So, a ratio is a statement that specifically describes how something is, how many of something is into comparison to something else. And there's multiple ways to write it. You can write it in words, which you have here. All of these are ways to write it in words. Or you can write it in this set, which is another way of writing it that is on another quiz question that you guys have this week. Or you can write it as a fraction. But we're not even going to get into the fraction part because that is not something you guys need to know for this question. So, in the last video or another video that I posted this week, it talks about the order of the ratio being very, very, very important. Okay, so I'm just going to get started and then explain a little bit as we go along the way. So the question says, the ratio of apples, put this right, apples to oranges in an orchard is 8-5. So what they say first, so the first thing they tell you is apples, right? So that means that the first thing that you have that they give you in this number set, 8 is apples. To oranges, which is the second one, which is 5. Okay, so when you look at this question, you need to make sure that you're reading it correctly where it says apples to oranges is 8-5. Okay, so make sure that you're understanding that there are 8 apples and 5 oranges in an orchard. Okay, and if you have to write that down, which sometimes I need to do, so 8 apples, 5 oranges. Okay, if you need to write that down, do it. Okay. And then it's asking you, check all the statements that must be true based on the statement above. If none of the statements are true, check none of the above. Okay, so you're going to go through all of these here, and you're going to say, which one of these means that? Which does this statement mean that? And if it does, you're going to click the box. Okay, so we're going to go through this, and this is really one of those questions you really need to take your time on because you can get it wrong so many times in a row, or there's multiple answers. So don't just say, oh, I clicked one, I don't need to keep reading. You can click multiple. Okay, so make sure you're taking your time. Okay, so I'm just going to get started, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So if we go through, and it says, for every 5 apples in the orchard, there are 8 oranges. So if I need to go through and I say, okay, well, my apples I highlighted in red, so sorry, I'll keep doing that. So for every 5 apples, there are 8 oranges. I'm going to go back and look at what I already wrote down, right? 8 apples, 5 oranges. This is not the same. Okay, so this is not an answer to this question because this is 5 apples, that's 8 apples. So what I'm looking for is 8 apples and 8 oranges and 5 apples. So they switched the numbers on you to try and trick you. So make sure you know that is not the answer. Okay. Okay, so for the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. 8 apples. Keep doing that. 8 apples in an orchard. And for every 8 apples in the orchard, there are 5 oranges. So I'm going to go back and check. So it says 8 apples, right? That's right. Checking these 2 out. That's correct. And then 5 oranges. That's correct. So I know that that is an answer. Okay? So I'm just going to go through and erase those lines. So I know that this one right here, this answer is correct because it meets the same as the other 2. And then it says there are exactly 8 apples and exactly 8 apples and exactly 5 oranges in the orchard. Okay. Now, 8 apples, 5 oranges. these numbers are correct, but does this mean that this is what it's asking you to put? No, it does not. So let me explain to you what word in here makes this wrong. Okay. So it says there are exactly. That means that there are literally only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 apples, and then exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oranges in the whole orchard. Okay. Now this is saying for every 8 apples in the orchard, there are 5 oranges. Now this is different because that's saying there could be like 400, or let me say there could be 800 apples, right? Put a little leaf on my guy right there, and there could be 800 of these guys, right? And there could be 500 oranges. They have a little leaf sometimes too. So there could be 500 of those. But as long as it's in the same proportion, that's correct. But there is not only exactly, that's how many there are in the whole orchard. That is not what you want. So this is not an option, even though it's in the same proportion. So if you were saying, oh, there's 8 and there's 5, and that's all that you were checking on, you're going to get this question wrong. So make sure you take the time to actually read and make sure that this little guy right here is not here to get your answer incorrect. Okay, so let me erase this and then keep moving. I'm going to keep my little guys in the corner, my oranges and apples, because they're pretty cute. All right, so next question. There are 8 apples to every 5 oranges in the orchard. So let me go back over and check again. 8 apples. Oh, wrong color. 8 apples, 5 oranges. Okay, let me double check. 8 apples, 5 oranges. So this is indeed correct. This is a correct answer. Okay. So even though this is in the right proportion, it is not exactly. Okay. And these guys, all the other ones, this one, and this one is not in the right proportion. So make sure you're taking the time to look for the word exactly or something else. I'm pretty sure exactly might be the only trip up word in there. But all the other answers that you have are incorrect except these 2. Okay? So make sure if you need to write this out, I would say just write it out every time and double check it, because sometimes when I'm helping students with this question, I frequently get it wrong because I'm trying to rush. So take your time, okay? Because this is an easy one to get wrong even though you know the answer. Okay, so take your time, and if you need help on this question, let me know.